We Belong to Each Other is a collaboration with Engineering Ministries International for this year's Seattle Design Festival. For our 7th session of this series, we have a personal story focusing on the topic of memory, change, and connection, written by Dustin Stoddart, a philosophy teacher and writer based in Seattle, Washington. We hope you enjoy it.
Sometimes, when we are lost and far from home, all we have are tokens and souvenirs, the small trinkets we wear, or gently thumb in our pockets, or hold in front of us in brief pauses which remind us of who we are and the places we have been. For me, these often take the form of memories, or small truths returning to mind in the moments that I need them. We are in the midst of several global emergencies. People are getting sick. Streets are on fire. The sea is warming and rising. It is nearly at our feet. To be concise, very little feels under control. It is more than any of us can navigate all at once. So, if there ever was a time for a reminder of who we are and where we are going, it seems like that time might be now. I hope you will allow me to share some of my own reminders with you. Perhaps you'll find some of these tokens and souvenirs are yours too, that there is something about them which reminds you of who you are and the common places we have both been, and perhaps the direction we wish to go. First of all, remember that we are, all of us, stronger than we know. Now, I do not know your most profound struggles, and although we may not all be on the front lines, doctors and nurses, activists, or first responders, I do know that each and every one of us has contended with crisis. Even in our most banal routines, our groggy commutes to work, those reluctant first steps of our runs, those first few brushstrokes in all our clumsy creative endeavors, even in these, we doubt the outcome and the purpose. In this way, we are all veterans of uncertainty. We are connoisseurs of existential threats. It is in our nature. We cannot help but wonder if our actions will amount to anything. And if I doubt myself in my most mundane struggles, what part could I possibly play in rectifying the world's most dire conflicts? How could my footsteps outside a state capitol, my clumsy words of compassion, my 10-second broadcast to the ether, how could any of these amount to change? I don't expect to wake up one day and find the world suddenly changed, metamorphosed out of the accumulation of these quiet, insignificant moments. But I do try to remind myself that this kind of uncertainty is not new. We have always dwelled in it. Still, there is no question in regards to change. The world moves, whether we are ready or not. Wise people have even said that the arc of the universe tends towards justice. Remember, though, that it has never done this on its own. I have seen how human beings wrap their lassos around the stars, clench their teeth, and yank in the direction of goodness. Remember that perennial question, is it time to think or time to act? And remember, too, that this is only a line drawn in sand. Remember that no one is stopping you from keeping a foot on both sides, from clasping your hands with mine and dancing between them. We hold white-hot fury and sadness and worry, but you and I also guard deep, latent reservoirs of wisdom, waiting to temper what we carry into newborn visions of the future. Remember, even though I might not know your name, I'm familiar with the sound of your footsteps in the apartment above me. I've seen you huddled under bridges on rainy days, and the way you sing to your child on the porch as the sun goes down. Remember, I hear your broken muffler in the mornings over the chirping of the birds. Remember that photograph, the one they took of you last year? You were a continent away, but I saw the fire in your eyes and your fist in the air. They ignited something in me. Maybe you remember that silly video on the internet, the one I said I'd take down, but never did, or my silhouette through the crack in the living room blinds. Maybe you catch glimpses of me in the mornings, sloughing off sleep as I drag myself to the car. I remember all the times, more than I care to admit, when I avoided your eyes. I'm not perfect, of course. I don't need to remind you of this. Remember, I will not always have the courage to acknowledge this intimacy of ours. But I would like more than anything to see the world through your eyes, to catch a glimpse through those windows. I do not think I will know what it is like to be seen myself until I can learn to look at you this way. And lastly, remember that change is not only in the fabric of the world, it is in human beings too. It is not new to us. You and I are products of a perpetual reconstruction, a patient reconfiguring, bit by bit, that's been taking place since the moment we were born. We are conversations unfolding between nature, experience, and one another. We are forces which have pressed together since the beginning of time. Not a moment has passed when you and I were disentangled, when we did not belong to each other.
Thank you for joining us for the 7th session of this series. All of the programs from this past week are available on Spotify and YouTube. We'd love to hear your thoughts, ideas, and feelings about your experience. Be sure to check out the survey on EMI's festival webpage to continue the conversation. To learn more about this year's Seattle Design Festival, go to designinpublic.org and check out the full lineup of events happening August 15 through 23rd, all exploring the theme About Time. EMI is a nonprofit Christian development organization that brings together teams of volunteer architects, engineers, surveyors, and construction managers. We use our skills to serve people worldwide through the design of hospitals, schools, water systems, and many other facilities. Check out the opportunities and adventures listed on our website and reach out to us today. Together, we are designing a world of hope.